guys, tonight I am going to show you a very simple shredded pork recipe. It is one of two things that I make in a crock pot. I don't do a whole lot of crock pot cooking, but this tends to work out really well. It comes out nice and tender. And what's great about it is you can use it to make quite a few dishes. I usually get about a 4-pound roast-ish. This one's a boneless one. You can do bone-in too, it doesn't matter. And this will be enough to make 2 different meals for my family. So usually I'll use half of it right away, and sometimes we'll freeze the other half, or within a couple days we'll make something else out of it. So I am going to get it going and let it go overnight. So yes, I am in pajamas. Why? Because it's almost 10 o'clock at night. But I'm gonna let it just go overnight. It'll be ready in the morning for me to shred up. So again, very simple. I have a cast iron pan back here that is warming up. You can see some smoke coming off of it because I am going to start by searing it. You do not have to. You can just put it right in your crock pot. I like to sear it first. Just gives a little added flavor to it. And something my mom always had in the fridge growing up and always cooked with, something that I always have, is a container of bacon drippings. So good to sear your roast and stuff in. I love it. So anytime you make bacon, just drain it into a container, let it cool off, and throw it in your fridge. It lasts forever in there. So what I'm going to do is in the pan, I'm going to do a nice big kind of scoop out of here. Get that melting down in my cast iron pan. And in the meantime, we will salt and pepper our roast. So you do want to do a pretty good amount of your salt and your pepper. I'm going to do this side first, and then once we put it into the pan, I'll put this side down and we'll salt and pepper the other side of it. And what you're looking for is just get a nice, like, caramelized crust on the outside, nice and brown. Okay. So, I'm thinking this looks pretty hot, ready to go. I also have a piece of foil ready to go nearby. I'm not going to tightly put it over the top, just loosely laid over it, just to kind of keep it from splattering out everywhere. All right, so salt and pepper side down. Obviously that pan's nice and hot. You can hear that sizzling pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat up a little bit, so I have it on about a medium-high heat right now. All right, just washed my hands, so now we're gonna go ahead and salt and pepper the other side. And basically while this is browning, it's gonna take, I don't know, probably about 3 or 4 minutes per side. And, what's nice about doing this at night, you can do this during the day. You can do it on high for 6 hours. You can do it on low for 8 or 9 hours. That's just what I'm gonna do. So you can do it during the day. I like to do it at night because, again, terrestrials love food. And it's kind of nice to wake up during the night and smell some food cooking. I'm gonna tilt it and make sure those, bacon drippings are all around. And again, I got that heat turned up to medium-high. Gonna just lightly tense this over it. Don't cover it tightly. And again, more just to avoid some splatters coming out here. So while this is browning, we're gonna go back to our cutting board here and get our onions and our garlic ready to go. All right, so I'm gonna get my other stuff ready. This is pretty quick. These are smaller bay leaves, so I'm gonna throw 3 in there. Same thing, my yellow onions are kind of smaller, so I'm gonna do 2 of them. And we're just kind of doing a rough chop, put them in there. And then I have about 4 garlic cloves that I am going to just give a smash to. Okay. Let's just throw them right in the bottom of the crock pot here. Put my bay leaves in there. And then, get my onions. Cut the top and bottom off. Cut them in half. Again, just peel off that outer skin. Then I'm just gonna, since they're smaller, kind of quarter them. Just barely kind of peel them apart and drop them in. Now, if you're wanting to do, I have a whole nother thing that I do if I'm actually doing pork carnitas. You can use this for carnitas, but you can add a few other ingredients to it. You add a little bit of fresh orange, fresh lime, Oh my gosh, there's Mexican Coke added in there because that helps it caramelize up. Add some chipotle peppers. Like I said, it's kind of a whole nother recipe. But this, like I said, I know I'm going to use part of the pork to do a spicy pork ramen soup. And then, I'm not sure the other part. We may turn it into carnitas. We may use it to make barbecue pork sandwiches. You could do nachos with it. Banh mi sandwiches. That might be an option for us. If you've never had a banh mi, they are so good.
You need to turn on the fan.
Thank you. Let's get that fan going. All right, so now we got our onions and our garlic in. So we are going to turn around to our stove and flip our roast over. It should hopefully be nice and brown. That fan on. We're gonna flip this over. See, we got that nice golden brown crust on there. That's what you're looking for. So we're gonna get that on the same side, and then we will take it out of here and throw it right into our crock pot. All right, so I have both sides seared, smoked us out of the house practically. That's okay, we cracked open a window, turned on the fan. So at this point now, we're gonna go ahead and just get this going. Again, that searing process is something that I do, that a lot of people do. You do or do not have to do it. That's totally up to you. If you don't have bacon drippings, you still wanna sear it, use your light olive oil or something like that. No problem. So we are ready to go. So as you can see in the bottom, I've got my rough chopped onions, I got my bay leaves, I've got my garlic cloves, my smashed garlic cloves, and now we're gonna put our roast in. So when you're doing this, a lot of pork shoulders, this is a cut of a pork shoulder, Boston roast, whatever it's called, will have like a fat cap on the top. You wanna leave that, don't trim it off, because that gives a lot of flavor. And we are going to put it in the crock pot with that side up, because as it slowly cooks, that fat starts to melt down, and it melts down into the meat, down to the bottom of the pan. So we're gonna leave that on the top. We're just gonna set it right over those onions and garlic, and then you don't have to add anything else to it. You don't have to add any kind of liquid, because as a lot of people know, crock pot creates a lot of moisture while it's cooking, so that creates a lot of juice, plus the meat's gonna let off a lot of its own fat and juices as well. So at this point, I'm gonna just turn this on low, throw the lid on it, and let it go overnight, and we will be back to visit it in the morning. All right, morning everyone. So now that we've done our set it and forget it overnight, this is what we are left with our pork roast. I would say mine went for about 9 hours. And it's been cooling off for about an hour or so. So basically at this point, what you're gonna do is we're gonna shred it up. But there is still some fat in here that you don't wanna include in there, so we'll just put that to the side. In my bowl here, I grabbed just a few of the soft garlic cloves and the onions that were in the bottom of the pan. And also a little bit of the drippings that were in there. You don't need a ton, but I like to mix it in, just kind of helps keep it juicier. So you kind of just break those up, and you wind up breaking it up into the meat as well. So just kind of mush them up. And then basically, you're gonna take this, and it is fall apart. I mean, it was falling apart as I was taking it out. So see, it just comes apart in these big pieces. This is that fat cap that was on the top. We don't want that. You can always mix a little bit in if you want a little bit in there, but you don't want too much of that. So you just kind of put that to the side, and then you're just gonna go through it, get all this meat shredded up. And then once you have it all in your bowl, just mix it together with that little bit of the drippings there and the onions and the garlic. And at this point, you have pork ready to go. Probably for, like I said, for us, this will be 2 different meals. We're gonna do it with our ramen soup tonight, and then I'm not sure yet what else we're gonna do with it. But it'll give you quite a bit as you go throughout it. Just pick out all those different pieces of the good meat. Again, a little bit of fat is okay, but you don't want too much. But it really gives you quite a bit. So hopefully you will get a couple meals out of this for you and your family as well. And I will be posting my ramen soup. Hopefully it turns out. I've never made it. I will get that posted most likely by tomorrow. So enjoy.